Hi everyone, Selena here to let you know about the winner of the September Fresh Health Award. This month it's going to the Grocery People. If you picked up a flyer for the Grocery People, you'll notice a section dedicated with a veggie snippet. These are a great way to spread half your plate tips and to increase purchase in the produce section by empowering consumers with the knowledge about a specific commodity. We look forward to seeing more half your plate content in the Grocery People flyers to come. Congratulations to the whole team. Now, on to the podcast.
Hi, and welcome to Produce Talks, the CPMA podcast. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to check out elearning.cpma.ca. That's elearning.cpma.ca. There you can check out all the online learning resources that are available through the CPMA, including podcasts, online learning tools, and our upcoming webinars. On this episode of Produce Talks, we're taking you back to the Learning Lounge on the CPMA Trade Show Floor for a session featuring two interesting career stories. How often do you get a chance to sit down with top-level produce professionals and find out about their produce story? How they got to where they are and who helped them along the way. This session will take a deep dive into the careers of two such individuals. Angela Santiago, the CEO and co-founder of the Little Potato Company, and Brian Faulkner, the VP of Sales and Marketing at BC Fresh Vegetables, Inc. The discussion was moderated by Mario Masellis from Catania Worldwide.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this educational session. We hope you get something out of this as you peruse this wonderful CPMA convention. We're here with two very important industry professionals, and I'm not being facetious when I say very important because they come from two very different backgrounds. We felt that this educational session would be very important to speak to you about because no one really goes to school and says, I want to go into produce. We kind of fall into it, but we fall into it for very different reasons. So I'd like to, first of all, introduce Angela Santiago from the Little Potato Company and Brian Faulkner from BC Fresh Vegetables. My name is Mario Masellis. I work for Catania Worldwide in Toronto. And we'll jump right in if you guys are ready. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, Angela? We'll go ladies first, and how you began your career in the produce industry.
You can hear me? Yeah, okay. I'm Angela, and I reluctantly started this company with my father 22 years ago. I was just finishing university with a poli-sci degree. I still love politics. And a history minor, obviously no farming, no produce background whatsoever. I grew up with a serial entrepreneur of a father, and this was another one of his ideas. And I said, well, I'll help you get it started, and then I'm going to go off and do something else. And I never left. So I fell into produce by accident, but I am staying in it on purpose. So that's my background, 22 years in the creamer potato business. That is all we do. We breed, grow, market, sell baby potatoes to retailers across North America.
My story is quite a bit different than Angela's. I grew up in drugstores. My dad's a pharmacist, and I grew up in the basement of the drugstore, shifting boxes of shaving cream and things like that. I worked for Shoppers Drug Mart for many years as I learned retail across the country. And then I had some friends who were moving into produce with a company called BC Hot House back here in BC. They convinced me to move back to Vancouver, and I started with BC Hot House. A couple of them are standing over there at that booth and giving me the googly eyes, so it's I'm a little nervous. And then I was, as BC Hot House kind of grew and progressed, the business started to fall apart a little bit as the industry separated. And then I had the opportunity to move back to sell drugs again. So I went back to sell drugs for a few more years until our president CEO convinced me to come and work for BC Fresh. Much like Angela, we're a family business, but a little bit different in that we're wholly owned by 31 family farms, all located here in British Columbia. And we sell produce from 65 farms in total. We do all the larger size potatoes that Angela doesn't do, but we also do a lot of carrots and cabbage and all the storage crop things that your families and distant relatives would have kept in the basement or under the stairs in the cold cellar. So that's kind of our core.
Okay. Brian, if you want to continue with this thought, what was it in your career that decided you to make that career change? Was it a single event or was it lifestyle change? What was it?
It was a combination of things. In my previous job, I worked for Bayer Healthcare, and I traveled about 120 nights a year, and it was very busy. I had the benefit of working from home, but I was also looking for working for local, and I wanted to know the people that I was working for. The farms that I work for, I know all these guys. They're good people. They've been in the business. Many of the farms have been around for well over 100 years. And it's very exciting to know these guys, that this is what they do. They're good at it, and it's very exciting. So I had the opportunity to travel a bit less, and I wanted to switch from trying to keep people healthy, trying to make them better by selling them drugs, to let's keep them healthy at the forefront. Let's give them the good things to eat, the good nourishment for their body, so that we can feed them, provide good nutrition, and keep them healthy in the first place. So it was a nice transition, and I've been thrilled ever since.
Okay. Angela, poli-sci and history.
How did that happen? Yeah.
Well, I did political science and economics, and we're both here in the produce industry. Tell us how and why.
So I think I always loved business. So that was my first thing. But I think the second thing why I stay in it is much like what you just said, is we're making a product that is actually genuinely good for people. It has a good impact on people's lives. And that's why I get up every morning, because I want to make that better for people. So it really is, it's guilt-free selling. Yeah.
An idealist.
Yeah, I am still.
Okay. Now, you said you started the business with your father,
Yeah.
who kind of forced you into it, as most parents do.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of doing now.
Right. What was the best thing about that?
Oh, okay. The best thing about starting a company with my father and family, and I still work with my dad and my two brothers and my husband. One is this unconditional support and love for your development. It just comes without saying. I think when we first started too, my father saw something in me that I didn't see yet. And so he really nurtured that. I think he saw that I was good at business and I was good at selling and good with people. And at that young age, you don't quite know what you're good at. And so having a parent recognize that and steer you, that was the definite plus. And then there's just this, I think, like I said, this genuine care and support for each other and our development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's get down and dirty. Talk about the challenges of working with your family.
Well, the nice filter can come off quite often. So that is the bad. You definitely get into more heated debates about where you want to see the company going. And I think the third thing is it can infiltrate your personal life a lot more easier. The boundaries of where work and personal stop and start become very gray when you do it with family.
And now it's time to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Nature Fresh Farms.
Hi everyone, it's Kara here from Nature Fresh Farms. It's that time of year again. On top of being busy at work, the kids are back in school. Packing healthy lunches to fuel their learning and get you through your workday can sometimes seem challenging, but it doesn't have to be. Include healthy snacks like apples or bananas that don't need to be repackaged. And on your busiest days, opt for foods that require less prep time, like snacking tomatoes. For more easy ways to incorporate fresh and healthy foods into your family's healthy lunches, visit our website at naturefresh.ca.
And now back to the conversation.
Brian, talk about balance, because you said you left the drug industry because you were on the road for 120 days a year. I'm going to guess that you're probably on the road quite a bit now still, or not?
It ebbs and flows. There's times of the year when it's kind of show season, where you're doing more of those things. But I find it's easier to have balance because when I'm home, I'm home. I'm definitely involved in my kids' soccer teams. I coach both their soccer teams, which gives that hard balance that I've got that home life thing that always brings me back. But they're also interested in what I do. They like coming out and working with me at days on the farm and doing these other things. Our produce warehouse is moving on Saturday. We just like doing everything in 1 week. And so they're going to come and help. Like, they're really interested in helping us get set up. They like what we do, and they like seeing the products on the shelf. Like, it's quite cool that I've always been a retail nerd. I love going into drugstores. I love going into food stores to see what's out there because it's cool. There's so many neat things. You wander around the show floor and you see, I never thought about doing that. Like, that package is a neat idea. Putting that ingredient in, it's just always changing and always growing. And I think by my kids being involved in it and enjoying it with me, I'm the cook at our house and I'm also the primary shopper. And having that balance and teaching my kids how to cook, when you can cook food for people, it's sharing love, and it's sharing that experience. And food is about time and spending time with people, and that's all we do. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Okay, so Angela, your balance is going to be a little different because you're actually working with the same people you're trying to balance your life with. So what do you guys like to do outside of the work? Or are you talking about work at the dinner table?
We try not to, but we do, I confess, we do talk about work a lot. So I think what I really had to learn, so autopilot for me, and this is different for everybody, autopilot for me is drive, build, and I love work. I love the purpose of the company. So for me, I had to be much more intentful and planned about balancing my life. So physically putting my phone away, making time and scheduling time to go for bike rides with the kids, anything like that. I really had to be very intentful and planned about that. And I still have to do that with my husband and my dad and my brother, is that, even we went to Mexico for a week, all 14 of us, and it was a discussion before we left on, we're not going to talk about work. And that had to be a very intentful conversation, because without that, we would have. So,
just a quick thing. My family always complains to me when we go shopping at a store that I spend 35, 40 minutes in the produce aisle. Yeah. And so you have to intentionally say, we're not doing that today. So I get that. Did you have Angela, any produce mentor when you first started in the industry that you looked up to or helped you get to where you are today?
So I've always felt, and it might be unique to this industry, I've not been in other industries, but I've always felt very supportive and supported and encouraged by the industry in general. It's been just a wonderful experience. Like, I have this whole cheerleading squad in this industry that go Angela, go expand, go to the US. And on a personal level, I've had a business coach and I have an advisory board that I go to consistently on getting advice, learning. I never have the idea that I have all the answers, so I always bounce stuff off other people.
Wonderful. Brian, mentors?
I've had quite a few, but I think the choice of words that Angela used was cheerleaders. That there's people that are around you that are saying, no, that's a good idea. Stick with it. You've got a good plan. But Angela also spoke about her dad, seeing something in her that maybe she didn't see. And I've had that same thing my whole life. I've got people who kind of spot something in you and say, you should develop that. You've got a knack for this. It came from my parents, but it's come from our friends. It's come from people that have hired me in other jobs. They're saying, no, you've got this skill that maybe you should develop and work on more so. And it's actually enabled me to change some of my roles. My current job as of last Friday was VP of Sales and Marketing. And now I'm, as of Monday, VP of Business Development and Marketing. So we've shifted because I've got better skills that Murray has seen, my president and CEO, to guide me that way. And I think it's quite neat. But the cheerleader point of view is great. And listen to the people around you, because they see things in you that you may not always see. And taking that opportunity to go, you're right, let's explore that a bit. It may not be your favorite thing, but if you can develop it and add it to your quiver of experience, then it's always very positive.
So take that one step further, if you wouldn't mind. Describe your management style.
Yeah. I know you had that even written on the sheet of the questions you were going to ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. I prefer to let people find their own way to make mistakes. That if you find a mistake and together you can work your way out of it, then you're better for it. I'm a heavily process-driven person, and I like the logistics of things and standard operating procedures. I'd rather have it written down, because then if we've screwed it up before, we come up with a way to fix it, we jot it down, then we shouldn't fall into that mistake again. I won't say that you don't, but I'm about the structure and the process of it, because at nature, I want to do as little as possible. I'm a lazy person by nature. But when I say lazy, it's not about wanting to do nothing. It's about wanting to do it as efficiently as possible so I have time to do something else. And that's really what drives me. Technology helps a lot of ways, but can hinder when you're spending too much time on your phone. You're not looking somebody in the face and talking to them. So it's about having those balances and finding ways to do things efficiently, so that your laziness can be stimulate your brain to work on other things and develop other skills.
Angela, management style?
I'm very much strategy and vision. I am a horrible micromanager. So I surround myself with people that absolutely wow me. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than someone being able to do circles around me on a job that I used to do. I thoroughly relish that. When someone can go and do something I couldn't do, and they do it way better than me. I'm thrilled by that. So I surround myself with people like that. And I'm an encourager of including mistakes and learning from them. I don't get angry with that kind of stuff. I very much, okay, let's learn from that and let's move on. Because I was given that growing up, and from my family and from the other shareholders, it was an allowing and a leash for me to learn from my mistakes.
Okay. What advice would you give the young people coming into this industry? Would you promote the industry?
Absolutely.
Why?
I think for the first comment I made about it's food. So the part of fruit and vegetables is that it's a genuinely healthy thing for somebody. So guilt-free selling, like I said, you're actually having a positive impact on people. And I think the second part of that is it's an industry where I feel everybody supports and they're all moving in the same direction. Regardless of what side of the table you're on, whether you're a retailer or a supplier or your competitors, you are all trying to feed the world better.
Ryan?
I agree completely. I don't know what else I can add. Jump in with both feet. There's so many different things in terms of different products, different styles, different ingredients, and everything is contributing to better nutrition and better health. And everybody's in it together. Like, we're all in it together. When somebody is able to get people eating more fruits and veg, then they're seeking out other fruits and veg and those types of things. It truly feels good. Like, I don't know what else to say. I feel good every day going to work.
So it's the same recurring theme is that we're doing good in the world. We're all making a good living, doing a good thing. But there are pitfalls. So if you could talk to yourself 20 years ago, and to avoid those pitfalls, I would have loved a map. But if we can offer the young mentors in the audience, what pitfalls can they expect?
I'll talk specific and then maybe more macro. I think one thing that whenever I even recruit people to the business is that this one moves very fast. It's a perishable. So it's not something you can go and store for a long period of time. So it's very quick. And I think that would be the one thing I would tell people. It's quick moving. On a macro, for me, I think some of the best advice I got was never become the bottleneck. Delegate and allow people to make decisions around you. Big thing on accountability and responsibility. That's truly how you learn, is when you can be responsible and accountable for a mistake. Because then that allows you to learn from it. If you project and blame other people, you will never learn from that mistake. I think the other thing is never stop being curious. Always be curious. Never think you have the answer, and learn from other people.
Brian, pitfalls?
The biggest thing that I had to learn in all the produce business that I've been in is manage your byproduct. The pretty perfect product is easy to sell. It's the bane of my existence is B-size yellow potatoes. Because Angela does such a good job selling creamers, B-size yellow potatoes are painful.
I can't sell them either.
We have 100-ton laying around at any one point in time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So but by managing your byproduct, it actually makes the sales of everything else easier. By managing your number twos, by managing the things that are harder to sell, if you focus on those, everything else sells itself. In terms of then the macro side of things, it's be true to your values. You guys were brought up with the values that were imparted on you. The integrity and the truthfulness is a given, but utilize the resources around you and keep learning, keep reading, keep consuming. There's so much new information that's always coming out to stay on top of it. Sign up for all the daily newsletters. If you can't get to them all, just consume little bits of it, and you'll be learning about other parts of people's business at the same time. And learning about others' business helps make your business stronger too.
Without being modest, what contribution to the industry are you the most proudest of?
I'll start. For me, it would be two things. I think we've had a positive impact on the potato industry. I think we are making headway on changing how people view potatoes. And what I love about that is that can't be undone now. So I feel really good about that. The second part is I'm really proud and I feel really amazing about the culture we've created in our company. We are a company that really cares about our employees, and then therefore that extends to caring for our customers and our consumers. So I'm proud of that, and that's an internal thing that I'm. Yeah.
Brian.
I think in speaking for myself, I think that I'm most proud of being able to bring new exciting things to market, having people try things they never would try. My son, who prefers to eat things with eyes and a pulse, now eats Brussels sprouts on a regular basis. I think it's encouraging people to try things that they haven't tried, and I push myself to try things that I haven't tried. Growing up, I hated tomatoes, and I was just over at the Howlings booth eating them like mad because I forced myself to learn and enjoy them. And I think that I'm proud of my continued development, that I'm not sitting still. I'm just looking for what's next, what's new, and keeping an eye on the past to recognize where I may have slipped and fell. But as long as you keep moving forward and contribute back to the industry, then you'll always be successful.
Wonderful. I think we'll open up the group to some questions. If you have any questions of these two wonderful people.
Every time I sit in one of these sessions, I learn so much, and it just makes me think of so many things I'd like to find a little bit more about. And I think, we all, when you're sitting around a table or, having dinner with somebody, whatever, you kind of evolve into these questions. So my question to you is, what's the kind of worst thing that's happened to you during your career? What's the best thing that's happened to you during your career? And you don't, if it's really bad, you don't have to tell us. But we know you'll have learned and grown from that. Unless somebody in here is the culprit. And then kind of what do you see for the industry? Maybe it can be for your business, but just in general, if you look down the road, what are you thinking about now and thinking in 5 years and 10 years, this is going to be a big impact to our business and maybe the industry as a whole?
I could start. I think there's often times when you forget something. Earlier, getting prepared for the show, and I won't say it's my biggest mistake. I'm not getting into that. That's a long story. But I think that people make mistakes. Today, when we got to the show, I forgot that we had to do the product display upstairs. But quickly recovered from that. Figured out that, okay, how am I going to fix this? Worked with my team, who are very strong, and said, what are we going to do? And it's like, yep, bang, bang, bang. We had it up, we had it in place, and we got it done. So we lived up to our obligations in spite of the fact that there may have been a slip. The best thing, coming back into produce. Drugstores are still where I grew up, and I still love drugstores. I still love talking about that industry with my dad. But with the merger of Loblaw and Shoppers Drug Mart, that's brought food and drugstores closer together. It's quite exciting now when you wander into a corner drugstore that you're seeing bags of potatoes, that you're seeing all these different things that you didn't see before. Things are crossing over. People are understanding that healthcare isn't about taking a pill to make yourself better. It's you gotta stay healthy from the ground up, and if you eat good food, and if you continue to consume the right things, then that will always keep you moving forward. And I think that's been the most positive thing is being part of such a great industry. It's been truly amazing.
Angela?
Okay. Worst thing. Remember I'd mentioned earlier my autopilot is drive, work. I got breast cancer at the age of 39. That was my big balance lesson on when to set my parameters on work and personal life. It also happened to be the best thing that happened to me because it did exactly that. I learned to set some boundaries for myself. I think the other best thing that happens, and it's little things like letters from consumers from New York City to the middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan. They write and they say, I love your product. Thank you so, so much. It's those little things that I'm like, that's why I get up in the morning. Yeah. Oh, the
Part of my
long term?
question, yeah. So what are you thinking, both of you, in terms of, oh boy, in 5 years, 10 years in my company or in the industry, these are going to be influencers. There's going to be, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, and I need to prepare for it. Kind of what do you think of you when you look down the road? What are you thinking about now?
The industry in general, I'm super excited for it. I think there is a massive trend, and not trend, this is a whole lifestyle shift that's happening from baby boomers to millennials. It's about eating better. And that's going to have the biggest impact on your industry. We are going to be eating more healthier. That is just what we're going to be doing. And so what that provides for this industry is growth, innovation, and I think just excitement and challenges. So I'm so excited to be part of this industry.
Angela's spot on. I think that you can only see it moving forward. The new products that come in, the new tastes, the new flavors, people's flavors are expanding, and the things that they're willing to try. But they're also rediscovering things that they may have forgotten. Angela said potatoes are experiencing a resurgence. It truly is. The consumption of potatoes is up again for the first time in years after so many years of decline, because people now understand the nutrition of it. And they got the bad rap of being fattening, but anything's fattening if you load it with sour cream and bacon. I can make cardboard fattening if I do that. But it's the flavors and people continuing to develop the things that they're enjoying. And the world of flavor that's kind of coming together, it's only going to continue to push the industry further forward. And when you're feeding people good food, it's unstoppable.
I hear so much passions in your stories, individual, personal passions. Yet, depending on where we stand, where our company stand along the supply chain, we touch so many grassroots people who work for us, and one big motivational factor personally is your personal passion. But can you speak a little bit about what are some of the significant or key programs within the company in translating this passion to those grassroots employees, so that we can motivate them and be on the same page at the same time?
So we do it differently at different levels. So it gets obviously more complicated and more intrinsic when you're at an executive level. But the foundation for everybody in the company, regardless of the level you're at, is the purpose and the values. If you can nail that, you can have anybody at any level in the company understand that and rally around that. So we have 5 core values in our company. We have a purpose, is to feed the world better. Well, it doesn't matter who you are in the organization. You can find out and figure out how to impact that. So for me, it was that foundation. It gets layered the higher you get up. But for us, it was that. And then all our programs, our employee incentives are all rallied around and supporting the values and the purpose of the company. So find that common thing for everybody. Doesn't matter what job you have in the company.
The other thing that I find always important is we encourage our people to put on their safety vest and wander through the warehouse and select produce, try things, taste them as they come in, because it's really hard to tell your customer about how great this product is until you've tried it yourself. It doesn't cost a lot as an organization to make sure everybody's tried the new grape, that everybody's tasted what those carrots are. If we have a customer complaint and we get our fair share, it's understanding what about that was horrible, why did they have such a disappointing experience, taste it myself and say, oh, you're right, that was crap. I'm sorry, we're going to make it better. And but by having our employees tasting the food all the time, we're putting out spreads at all the holidays so they can take the food home. And it's a low cost for us. But the amount that it pays to have them involved and engaged in our food really is a huge thing. And it makes them passionate about it.
I'd like to thank Angela and Brian for sharing their thoughts and how they got into the produce industry. And I hope that we've installed some information that you can take forward and remain passionate in our industry as well. So give them a round of applause. Thank you very much.
And that's it. that's all that we have for you this month on Produce Talks. I'd like to thank all our guests for being part of our show. Our sponsor, Nature Fresh Farms, your support is very appreciated. And I'd like to thank you for listening. Remember to check out elearning.cpma.ca to find out more about online training available from CPMA. Until next time, remember to seek out new knowledge, build your skills and abilities, and basically, never stop growing.
You will now be disconnected by the moderator.